In today's show, we'll travel to Yelapa, Mexico with my friend Dez from mydestination.com. She's a solo female travel expert, blogger, and guide. Olga Maria from Dreams and Heels will be joining us too. I'll talk to both of them about safety in Mexico, and we'll find out if it's safe to eat the street food. We'll take a paddleboard trip to Los Arcos with Felix, and I'll talk about hurricane season in the area and give you a few ocean safety tips.
We are actually headed right now to Boca de Tomatlan, which is the last fishing village just before you get onto the highway to go up to El Tuito. So this is Highway 200. It is lined by the Sierra Madre Mountains, which makes this particular area super special. This little fishing village is the place that you go to access Yelapa, Chimo, or any of the southern little fishing villages south of Puerto Vallarta. This part of Mexico has all of the jungle as well as all of the ocean. I'm going to take some of my good friends and solo female travel bloggers to Yelapa to show them the exciting jungle, the culture, the hidden waterfalls, the food, the tequila, the raicilla. Wow, why so many birds? During whale season, which is approximately November to March or April or so, we always see whales when we're going on the Pangas to Yelapa. In fact, yesterday we just went on a 20-minute tour and we saw 4 whales along the way, and it was amazing. Welcome to Yelapa! And we're going to explore all the ins and outs of this very, very small rustic town. It's unique to Puerto Vallarta because it's like taking a step back into old Mexico. ¿Cómo está tu burro? Está bien. Está bien, ¿y tú? Bien, bien. It's very traditional. You see a lot of caballeros, the horses, the cowboys.
Hola.
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 Traditional Mexican food cuisines and amazing waterfalls, jungles, oceans, everything. Literally, we've got everything in Yelapa. But they're only things that you can see in Yelapa and not things that you can see in Puerto Vallarta. That's what makes Yelapa so unique. The majority of people that reach out to me are solo female travelers. One of their big concerns is safety in Puerto Vallarta. Is Puerto Vallarta safe for solo female travelers? And my answer is always absolutely. I walk around freely all the time, all hours of the day, by myself, and I have never had any sort of an issue to worry about. So this is mi amiga. She is actually studying and teaching herself English.
Wow.
The way that she's doing this is by creating her own artwork here. All of this is all of her own designs.
Oh.
And she's using the money that she makes from her own artwork to put herself through school, to get a better education, to be able to be more like us solo female travelers.
Olga Maria is a travel and lifestyle expert and world travel blogger at dreamsandheels.com and latinaswhotravel.com.
Right now where we are in Puerto Vallarta is very, very safe. I feel very comfortable here. I'll be honest, I'm from New York City and I feel sometimes here more safe than I feel in New York City. Sometimes I go hiking, I go to waterfalls, and sometimes I go to bars, nightclubs, and I feel like always pretty comfortable and safe. And of course at the end of the night, like I usually do, I would try to take an Uber or something home. But overall, I never felt any kind of way when I'm walking even by the Malecón by myself. Honestly, this is one of the safest places I've felt in Mexico.
Often when women travel to Puerto Vallarta, they want to know about the safety of getting around. We don't have a lot of theft, we don't have a lot of danger, we don't have a lot of violence. The crime is very, very low. There are some robberies and things to consider, and that's why I recommend just not wearing flashy jewelry, keeping, just a certain amount of cash on your body, and just not flaunting your
first world American amenities that you have. This place is very, very safe, and violent crime does not exist in Puerto Vallarta. It is a very protected community. When people come to Puerto Vallarta, they're often concerned with, should I take a taxi, should I take an Uber, or should I take the newest in-driver that's now in PV? And my recommendation is take whatever is available to you at that moment. Taxis are safe, Ubers are safe but cheaper, and in-driver seems to be something that you can negotiate but just as safe as well, but the price is a little bit different than the following two. All three are recommended though to get around, and if you've never tried public transportation in Puerto Vallarta, I highly recommend that. The bus in Puerto Vallarta is the most well-used public transportation that's available to us, and personally my favorite way to get around, actually. It's very used by the locals, families, mothers with children, myself as a solo female traveler. Recently, in the last couple years, they've raised it from 7.5 pesos per ticket to now 10 pesos, but in the US that equates to 50 cents, and you can get anywhere you want to go with public transportation in PV, and it's totally safe.
Banderas Bay, as well as the mountains that surround it, provide a barrier of natural protection that makes Puerto Vallarta one of the safest places to visit on Mexico's Pacific coast. During hurricane season, which typically runs from June through November, the rains increase. Although this time of year does bring a lot of rain, weather reports are fairly reliable, making it possible to plan most activities in advance. Most days, the sun shines until mid-afternoon, when scattered showers often pass through. As for the rest of the year, the weather is amazing. On the bay, the waters are calmer than much of the Pacific coast, and beaches are perfect for swimming, scuba diving, snorkeling, and kayaking. When the swell hits right, you can surf in the bay at spots like Punta Mita and Quimixto. The Pacific Ocean can become rough at times, and if you're not experienced, it's best to hire a guide to enjoy activities like paddleboarding and snorkeling. We just left Mismaloya and we're heading towards Los Arcos. There's Felix, our guide, Ashley behind us, and Ray, and this is where we're going. Even experienced adventurers can benefit from an expert guide. We're about to go through one of the sea caves here at Los Arcos. Paddle away. An amazing experience. Oh yeah. Tides, currents, even jellyfish are all things to watch out for. However, there is no need to be overly concerned about them. Overall, the bay is a calm and safe ocean destination. Felix can identify the birds and knows the best spots to try to get a glimpse of the rays. Felix is also great with his camera and can get some amazing shots. So Felix is now guiding us to another rock where we're going to go through another sea cave.
It's El Diablo, do you see it?
Yeah, the Diablo.
Oh.
Unfortunately, there are few pollution-free beaches left in the world. Where there's people, runoff tends to end up in the ocean. How much pollution exists at any point in time and on any particular beach is another matter. 10 of the cleanest beaches in Mexico are located in Puerto Vallarta, and efforts are continuing to improve others. Smooth water on the open ocean. I would recommend not to swim near any river mouth for several days after a rainstorm, and that goes for anywhere, not just in Mexico. made it through. Good?
Yeah, there's a ray right there.
Oh, yeah.
Trying to give her to mommy. Here we go.
There are lifeguards at some beaches, and paying attention to warning flags on the beaches is recommended. The green flag means that the water conditions are safe for swimming. A yellow flag indicates to use caution while swimming. A red flag indicates dangerous conditions. And the black flag indicates the highest warning level, and you shouldn't swim. The food is safe, and I highly recommend that you visit some of the many street food stands around town.
And we are near the Marisco Cisneros, and we are going to eat shrimp tacos. It's my favorite taco here.
Oh yeah, fresh?
Yeah.
Shrimp taco?
Shrimp taco.
Nice. What do we have here?
Oh, this looks delicious. This is jalapeno pepper filled with shrimp and octopus.
A jalapeno stuffed with shrimp.
Yeah.
It's got octopus and shrimp stuffed inside a jalapeno pepper. That looks delicious. Okay, I gotta try it. I eat at street stands all the time without any problem. Very good. The food is delicious and inexpensive. Just look for the busy places where the locals are eating.
A lot of people ask me when they come to Puerto Vallarta if drinking the water is safe. And that really depends on where you are in the city and where you're staying. So a lot of the hotels actually do have a filtration system, and they will tell you when you're staying at the hotel or your Airbnb, the water is potable, you are able to drink it. However, drinking out of the faucet in some of the other neighborhoods may not be recommended. So a lot of us locals, we actually get what is called a garrafón, which is basically a large jug of water brought up to our house about 2 or 3 times a week, and that's how we drink our water.
Puerto Vallarta is safe, but that doesn't mean that you should always be letting your guard down. Crime still exists, but crime levels are low, especially compared with the rest of Mexico, and significantly lower than the crime rates of major cities in the United States, like Miami and Las Vegas. Puerto Vallarta has largely remained uninvolved in cartel conflicts. Violent crime is rare, and in the few instances of violence that have occurred, the victims were suspected to have been involved with the cartels in some way. The crimes that do occur are usually petty in nature, and mostly crimes of opportunity, such as bag snatching, pickpocketing, or theft. But even these aren't very common.
Mexico has this reputation, especially with Canadian and American travelers, that it is not a safe place to go. Once I actually came here and experienced it by myself, I learned that it could not be farther from the truth. And actually, in 2018, AARP ranked Puerto Vallarta as the #1 place to retire for any American citizen based on safety and cost of living, against 100 other cities around the world. We got #1. I would recommend for any solo female traveler or any traveler to any other country outside of their own to stay away from wearing shiny, flashy jewelry. Always be conscious and aware of opening wallets in certain places, and just making sure that if you do have a purse or something, that you're always visually aware of what's going on. But here in Puerto Vallarta, it's not as common. It can happen, but it's really not something that I would worry about here.
In the description below, you can find a link to our best travel gear recommendations page on our website. For more information about the pandemic situation here, you may want to watch my video, I moved to Mexico during COVID. Make sure to subscribe and click the bell so that you'll be notified about my cost of living guides and neighborhood tours. And for more information, please visit www.livingoverseas.tv.